Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I know it's been a while, but now we're back. I'm your host Caleb.
And I'm John.
This week we'll be trying out a new format, so stick around a little bit and see how this works. Hopefully this format will be okay. I think we'll get the most out of this format rather than the way we've been doing the show. So just let us know in the comments if you think we should go back to the old style or if you like the new style. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so in this new format, we're just going to talk. So, anything Star Wars related been happening to you for the last couple of weeks?
Did you see, in Game Informer they talked about this guy that he actually built a walker in his backyard?
I might not have gotten that issue yet. Is that for this month?
No, it was on their website.
Oh, on their website. Okay, I'd have to look it up then. But, oh wow.
Yeah.
Like, was it like built to scale?
Yes. It was like out of metal.
Oh, out of metal?
Yeah.
Did they say how much that costs? Or anything?
I don't remember it. I just saw it and kind of glanced at it, so I didn't really look too much into it, but I thought it was interesting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the only thing I've really done is I played the new chapter for the Old Republic.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. Okay, I might go into some spoilers here, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hope it's okay with you guys. If not, just skip ahead a couple minutes. I'll give you the thumbs up when we're clear.
Mm-hmm.
So, I played the chapter, playing as my Jedi Knight. Some of the fun things, they added this new thing where now everybody's going to get a lightsaber. Everybody builds a lightsaber in this chapter, even if you're a non-Jedi. Because they made me build a new lightsaber and I figured that's something you have no choice on. This chapter was essentially you being trained Dagobah style.
Oh.
Like, you even go into a cave and fight something. You actually fight, what's her name, Valen. She's your Darth Vader thing.
Yeah.
For this chapter. Valkorion is trying to make you more powerful, obviously, saying, use my power, and trying to train you and saying, you are destined to take my place at the throne, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of it, I'm actually convinced that I am. Not because of him, but because of two other people that are in the chapter that they bring back. Satele and Darth Mar, who are now working together. Darth Mar has actually forsaken the way of the Sith. He's a little bit more gray Sith. I wouldn't call him a gray Jedi, because he's more gray Sith.
Yeah.
Because he relies still on a lot of the Sith teachings, but he realizes that's not enough anymore. And Bastila is a great Jedi at this point, and they decided, you know what, we're going to work together, because we realized both of us failed to stop the Eternal Empire.
Yeah.
So now they have to work to train me, or you, depending on your character, to become just as powerful and become essentially to become the next leader of the Eternal Empire, like when you finish everything off.
Yeah.
Like, your goal at this point is to become the best leader, and that's what they're trying to get you to become, and to give you a weapon that you can take Arkin and Valen out with. So they make you build a new lightsaber for that purpose. Or your first lightsaber, depending. So, I mean, and another thing I enjoyed is you actually had to rely on yourself in this one. Like, it was just you. Although, I will say the chapter is still easy, like the rest of the game's been so far with the new expansion, in that they give you a backpack and things, and if you activate it, it heals you throughout most of it. But then it does have a timer to where it stops healing you, so you have to reset it every few minutes. Remember to reset that, otherwise you're dead. Also fight everything, even if just because you have to. They also have another ability they added to where one of the nearby creatures can be allied with you for a little bit. Well, throughout the game or until they die or you set it off. But, yeah, it was pretty good. So that's a thumbs up for you guys that were that didn't want any spoilers. I will say that this chapter was fun. I'm more excited for next chapter because they left it off at a cliffhanger, which they've been doing for the entire expansion. But they left it off at one of the best cliffhangers, one that I sort of predicted though, because I saw the scene, I was like, okay, they're gonna end it here, aren't they? And they and they ended it, and so I was just like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It made sense where they ended it, I should say. It wasn't because predictability isn't always bad.
Yeah.
There's a reason things are predictable. So that's essentially what I did over the week. The other thing is I bought my Blu-ray of the Force Awakens. Got my digital and DVD combo. That way I can get that extra deleted scene. I watched everything. Have you had a chance to get your copy yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. So you haven't seen any of the bonus features yet?
No.
The hour-long, there's the over-hour-long one. That's supposed to be the entire featurette of like almost everything, and then they have a few extra ones here and there to focus on more specific things.
Yeah.
It's all great, all of it. I suggest watching all the behind-the-scenes stuff if you're into that. The deleted scenes, I can see why they got deleted. Now that I look at them, not a lot of them impressed me, and I wasn't really like, oh, if this was in there, would have made it all better. And this is coming from someone who read the book.
Yeah.
And the book has a lot of those deleted scenes. Now, there's some that weren't in the deleted scenes that are deleted that were in the book. Those are the stuff that I think, okay, you should have added that. But the stuff that we see on the disc, I'm sort of glad it was deleted. Even the Kylo Ren finds the Millennium Falcon scene. That one, everybody was like, oh, why'd they delete that? That should have been one of those scenes that you would have felt more emotional when he kills Han. It serves the same purpose as that scene where he just senses Han and he's like, Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when Han first gets on the planet and you see Kylo storming about and he has that sense moment. It's essentially that scene, but on the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
So it would have been redundant to keep it.
Yeah, sounds like it would have been.
But I mean, I can understand why people originally would think, oh, why'd they delete that? But when you see it, then you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Also, it had a Dutch angle, which I'm sorry, JJ, professional filmmakers, it's not used that often, and there's a reason. You feel sort of off about it. And like everybody saw, like, you know, everybody saw the image of the snow troopers inside the Millennium Falcon, and we saw the Dutch angle shot, and everybody was like, oh, I hope that's not for the entire deleted scene. It's for the entire deleted scene. Yeah, I'm glad that scene's gone.
Yeah.
The snow speeders chase scene was another one that was deleted that everybody was like, oh, why'd you delete that one? That would have been great. It would have explained why Finn and Rey had to be away for the entire part up till when Han gets killed. Sort of, once again, wasn't that impressive. Maybe it's because the effects weren't done yet. Because you can tell the effects weren't like polished and everything yet. But you can tell where the scene was going. And yeah, it was an unnecessary scene. It would have added maybe 5 extra minutes that would have been unnecessary. So for the most part, deleted scenes I agree with being deleted. Featurettes were great. The one that will really get you emotional is you get to see a little bit of the very first read through. Like, you know the infamous image from episode 7 when they first announced it. They showed the image of everybody at the table read for the first time. Yeah. You get a little bit of that, and you get emotional because you saw our recent table read for my current show. Yeah. So you saw how it goes, where somebody reads the interior and then the actions and stuff. Mark Hamill was the one reading that stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so you get a little emotional because you're just like, oh, Mark Hamill, your voice. It's so perfect for this. Because he reads a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And he reads the entire, like, all of that moment of the crawl. And you're just like, oh. And then you sort of forgive them for not giving him any lines. Because then he wouldn't have been the one to probably read that stuff. Yeah. So, it's a very emotional moment. So, moving on from Force Awakens, I mean, unless you have anything, like you said, you haven't gotten your copy yet, so
no, I haven't.
You unfortunately don't have an opinion on it. Have you had a chance to play the new Battlefront DLC content?
No, I haven't. You
You haven't been able to do anything, man.
Nope.
Well, it's fun. You've heard me talk about it before. You guys haven't. You can now play with rotations on the game types rather than the maps, which I think is a wonderful addition. Because for me, honestly, I get bored if it's the same game type over and over, even if it's on a different map. I'm one of those people that's like, okay, I need to play this game type and this game type, and I don't care what map it's on. I'm going to play all the different game types just because it gives me a good rotation.
Yeah.
You can do that now. You don't get to choose the rotation of game types, unfortunately. I think that's something that they'll probably add later from the sounds of what DICE has been talking about. Because DICE has been talking about that type of stuff.
So it's more kind of like a roulette?
No, you sort of know what's going to come next, but it's more of a, you pick how big of the game type you want it to be, and then they go from there.
Okay.
So like, you know, the bigger game types like Walker Assault, Blast, what's the one that's basically Conquest? The one that's essentially Conquest. So you have those three that are essentially the big game types, and you get to go through those a bunch, essentially. And then you get your smaller game types, such as your cargo, and then your drop pods, and all that. And you get to go through those. And then there's one that's just the expansion content, essentially, where you play Droid Run, because that's one game type that it makes sense, because you have the heroes in it.
Yeah.
So, and then you have the new game type, Extraction game mode. So so that's the new game type that they added, where it's essentially you have cargo as if you're the rebellion, you have cargo, and you're trying to get it out of there. You're trying to get it to the end of the map. You're going from one side of the map to the opposite, essentially, and then you have a ship that's going to take off with your cargo. The Empire's job is to stop you, and basically, it's actually a game type that either side could win, unlike Walker Assault, where it's very much balanced to be the Empire will win 75% of the time. This one is a little bit more 50-50, because unlike Walker Assault, the Empire can actually stop your cargo from moving. You can actually, there's a switch, essentially, that it's one of those hold D or hold square if you're playing PlayStation, which is what I do. Hold square, and it has a little timer, and then it stops. Or it goes if you're the Rebellion, because you want it to move. So it has one of those. Now, one of the things the Rebellion do get is they get a chance to put a shield around it, because it's a bubble shield, one of those bubble shields, but it moves with the cargo. It's one that's stuck on top, they put it on top of the cargo, and it moves with it. So if you're in one of those heavy fire areas, make use of that. Another thing that they added is at the beginning of the match, the Rebellion gets a hero automatically. The Empire doesn't. And then when you get to there's 3 checkpoints essentially. And when you get to the second checkpoint, then both sides get a hero. Now, this is where you sort of want to be a little bit more strategic. You want if you're the Rebellion, you want to have both heroes at that middle point, which means you want to make sure your first hero doesn't die getting the cargo to the second extraction point. When you get to the third point, that's when the Empire gets 1 extra hero. And that's when you're going to be hoping that you killed the one at the middle, and you had your and you still have your 2 extra heroes. Because then it's essentially easy. But I've seen it go the other way around, where the Empire has the heroes outnumber, and then they win because of that. Yeah. The other thing you get to play when you're on the DLC playlist, I guess is the best term for it. When you're on the DLC playlist, is you get to have your you get to play the heroes versus villains game type. And now it's 4v4 because of the DLC rather than 3v3. So you get to try out Greedo and Nyanub. Now the new thing that they added is instead of it being random what hero you get, you actually get to choose your hero at the very beginning of the match. But you gotta be quick, because somebody else may want the same hero as you. So it's first come, first serve, essentially. Now it is random who gets to be the hero, but it's no longer random on what hero you get. which is, I think, one of the better parts about the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
One of the good things is if you didn't get the season pass and you don't plan on getting the expansion, it's not going to ruin your game time. The only thing is you don't get to play the new maps, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you can play the new maps if you didn't. But you'll still get the new weapons.
Yeah.
You'll still get to play it with the new weapons which they released. And you will still interact with other players who happen to be using heroes from the new expansion.
Yeah.
So, say I have the expansion and you don't,
Mm-hmm.
which we both do.
Yeah.
But just for this example, say you didn't. Say I was playing as Greedo, and we were in the same game, and you happen to be on the Rebellion, and I run up to you and I go boom, and you die, because Greedo.
Yeah.
Because that's all Greedo would do. Boom. So that still affects you,
Mm-hmm.
even though you don't have it. And that's one of the better things I think about the way Battlefront has been working is even if you don't get the DLC, they still are providing other DLCs to make up for it, and they're still giving you the weapons. They're not saying, oh, you don't get the weapons. You just don't get the maps and the heroes, which...
And then they also do all the, like, XP boost weekends.
Yeah, like this weekend.
Yeah, like this weekend.
This weekend's an XP boost weekend because of The Force Awakens coming out.
Yep.
So, alright, let's move on because I think there's one big topic I'm pretty sure everybody wants us to talk about.
Yes.
It's definitely one I want to talk about, mainly because it's something that you guys have heard me complain about for weeks.
Yep.
Rogue One trailer. Finally!
Yep.
Finally comes out, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say, it's amazing. Despite my complaints, I will say it was worth the wait.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it.
And they honestly released it at a better time, sooner than I thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought they were going to wait till next month when Civil War comes out,
Yeah.
and they would have shown it on the big screen. But they decided, hey, Force Awakens came out on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can start showing advertisement for Rogue One, which makes sense from a business standpoint. It's just as a fan, I wish it had come sooner.
Yeah.
So anything about the trailer that stands out for you that you're really excited for or really not excited for?
I'm kind of excited just to find out the stories behind the new characters.
Oh, like Janice?
Yeah, because it looked like that
Janice, yeah.
she was getting arrested by them.
Yeah, it looked like she had gotten in trouble with the rebellion, probably because the way they make it seem is that she's part of the rebellion, but she did something that went too far.
Mm-hmm.
And so the rebellion's like, alright, we gotta send you on this mission to make up for all that.
Mm-hmm.
We're okay with you being on our side, but if you're gonna go that far, let's put you on a mission where that's necessary.
Yeah.
Mon Mothma in the trailer, though, I was happy about.
Yeah.
And right away, I was one of the people who knew that it was the same actress that was in the deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith. I knew that right away.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, it became an argument on the internet because it wasn't confirmed yet. It became confirmed later. So I'm glad that she gets her chance to shine because I personally like the deleted scene she was in, and I wish that it stayed in Revenge of the Sith. Yes, it would have dealt more in the politics stuff, but it was also the formation of the rebellion, which I think would have been a good scene to have in Revenge of the Sith, to show that even that early on, there were people against the way that Palpatine was running things.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. We're going to play a little game here to figure out what we think of Rogue One. So, there's a character that I think should show up,
Okay.
who we haven't seen in the trailers and hasn't been confirmed yet. And I hope it's played by the same actor that played him in the other films.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bail Organa, played by Jimmy Smits.
Yes.
So, percentage of a chance that you think he will be in Rogue One. Even if it's not... Okay, let's make this a twofold question. Percentage that Bail Organa will be in it, whether it's played by Jimmy Smits or not.
I would say probably around an 80 to 90% chance.
Okay, I'm probably with you there. Okay, now percentage that it's Jimmy Smits playing Bail Organa again like he did in the prequels.
I would say that's probably lower chance.
Like where how low are you talking? Like,
I'll say 50-50.
okay, I'd honestly go with 75 that he's back as Bel Organa, and I'd go around the same area as you in the 80s, 85 area of Bel Organa being in this movie because he has to be.
Yeah, he has to be.
Even if it's at the very end where he's just like, okay, Leia, here's the plans.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
Yep.
All right, now a percentage that Leia's in it. What that a Leia that we from A New Hope's in it. Because I joked about, I had to make a joke about that, but in seriousness, she's probably.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we don't see her face, we know
we'll hear about her at least.
Yeah, hearing about her, I'd say is a higher chance. I'd say hearing about her is a 95% chance. Yeah. Her physically being seen, it's probably lower. That would go 50-50.
It would definitely, if they did, it would probably be towards the end where they bringing it in.
Like we're gonna go and here's the plans.
Here's the plans. Yep.
And then, because I feel like Rogue One is one of those movies that it's gonna lead us directly into A New Hope. Like you should be able to just watch Rogue One, and then not even be able to, and not have to watch the title crawl and watch A New Hope. Like if a fan edit were to come out once Rogue One comes out, a fan's gonna edit the credits out of Rogue One and the title crawl out of A New Hope, and you should be able to watch it like one movie. Yeah. And I feel like that's how this movie's gonna play out. And if I'm wrong, I'll be surprised, but I won't, be upset either. Yeah. All right, so I think that's everything we have time for now. Yeah. So let's move on to everybody's favorite part. Yes. The review. Our assignment for the last couple of weeks, sorry about that again, we've been very busy, for the last couple of weeks was to watch Clone Wars. Yeah. Okay, so we watched season 4. We're almost there. We're almost out of the Clone Wars territory. Yes. I mean, I'm not too excited about it being out of it, but I am at the same time because I do want to talk about the books, the comics, the other material, anything else that comes up. I am excited to talk about the other stuff, but let's talk about this season of Clone Wars. Yes. So let's do what we always do, start with our least favorite and most favorite episode, or arc. Yeah. So I'll let you start. I'll let you lead us off.
Well, I think my favorite arcs were the ones with the clones.
Okay, the Krell one?
Yeah, the Krell one. Where Anakin's called back to the Order and they bring in General Krell to lead the troops, and he turns out to be bad and evil.
Goes Dark Jedi on everybody.
Goes Dark Jedi on everyone. I was just like, I'm gonna kill everyone, pretty much. And so the Stormtroopers kind of fight back and end up actually killing him in the end.
Yeah. What's your least favorite out of that? Out of this season?
I'm not sure what's my least favorite.
I mean, for the most part, this season's good. I'll give you that. But there are a couple episodes I have a problem with, but I'll get into them on my turn. I'll let you lead us off first, just so just to get your ideas.
Yeah, it's a hard one this time around.
I mean, I have a couple ones, so I think I'll share mine just to give you an idea of what I don't like, and maybe you also didn't like them. The droids episodes, for one. Yeah, that's my first big problem.
That was one of the big problems that I had. Probably was the droids.
Yeah, the Mercy Mission and the Nomad droids. Yeah. So, if you haven't watched season 4, these 2 episodes were dedicated just to C-3PO and R2-D2. Yeah. And if you grew up in the 80s, which I did not, you would probably be reminded of this show called Star Wars Droids, which was just about C-3PO and R2-D2. Yeah. The problem is, C-3PO and R2-D2 cannot lead something on their own.
No, they can't.
Even the Star Wars Droid show in the 80s, they knew they had to have human or at least non-droid characters in the show to lead the show on. Yeah. And it worked back then. this didn't work because it was just C-3PO and R2 running into other things, and it didn't work for me, anyways.
Yeah.
One of my other not so favorite arcs was the Kadavo, the slave arc.
Yeah.
It works in that it gave us a little bit more of Anakin's rage, but it didn't work because I had read the comics for the Clone Wars that were coming out at around the same time as the show, and they were supposed to be within the same continuity. The comics aren't canon though anymore, but they stole that storyline from the comics, the Kadavo storyline, almost frame for frame, but not quite. And I preferred the comic, like in the end, and I'm just like, yeah, I got more bored watching these episodes.
Yeah.
They're honestly, like, I talked about how in season 1 there's an episode I'd skip, or this one it's a full arc I'd skip.
Yeah.
It's a little sad.
That's pretty sad.
Now for my favorite, you stole one of my favorites, the Umbara storyline, but one of my other ones is the Obi-Wan undercover one.
Yes.
Obi-Wan fakes his death and then pretends to be a bounty hunter, works with Cad Bane for essentially a heist movie, but it's also a movie where they plan to assassinate Palpatine.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And then because it's it's 5 episodes. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
It's a 5-episode arc. And it's basically Count Dooku hires the best of the best bounty hunters, and Obi-Wan fakes his death, pretending to be the guy that murdered him.
Yeah.
And then goes to prison, makes friends, because it's a prison movie as well.
Yeah.
Makes friends with Cad Bane and this other bounty hunter that's not. He's important to the story, but he's not that important overall.
They break out.
They break out, and then they end up working. He ends up getting Cad Bane's trust. Because that's the biggest.
Because they get put through a trial kind of thing.
Yeah, and then they get put into this thing called The Box, which reminded me of that horror film, also called The Box.
Yeah, kind of did.
And it was basically this. It was a trial by Count Dooku to be like, that was built by the other bounty hunter. That was like, okay, I want all the best bounty hunters to prove their worth for this team, and if you don't, you will die from the box.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan almost made captain of the team, but Cad Bane proved himself more worthy of being the leader, I guess, somehow. I can't remember exactly how.
Because he saved Obi-Wan?
Yeah, he saved Obi-Wan or something like that.
Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan was about to die after proving to the other bounty hunter that he was better, because the other bounty hunter wanted to be in charge.
Yeah.
And he was all getting mad, and he's like, no, this is my box, I'm going to prove I'm better than all of you. Because he built the box. And he's like, I'm going to do everything to kill Obi-Wan. And
he ended up died himself.
Yeah, he ended up failing.
Yep.
And then there was another episode, the next episode, which is the last episode, they go through with the plan to take out Palpatine. And Cad Bane and Count Dooku somehow knew Obi-Wan was pretending, and they had like a communicator hidden inside the sniper rifle that Obi-Wan was supposed to have.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. Anakin and Count Dooku get a pretty good lightsaber fight in that episode as well. Overall, that was a good storyline. And let's talk about the fact that Darth Maul came back.
Yeah.
In person.
The last episode of the season.
Well, the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, last 2.
Yeah, because before that were the 2 episodes about Ventress dealing with the Night Sisters being killed off by Grievous and the droid army.
And her becoming more of a
bounty hunter, which has Bosk in it.
Yeah.
One of the greats. One of the great classics.
Yep.
And then the last 2 episodes were Savage. First one was Savage finding Darth Maul.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Obi-Wan and Asajj Ventress working together because they found out that both Savage and Darth Maul were alive.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Ventress didn't know Savage was still alive for the most part. Or she didn't consider him a threat anymore. But he was working with Darth Maul now. And Obi-Wan's like, oh great, now Darth Maul's back. And Ventress and Obi-Wan work together to fight them. Everybody gets away though.
Yep, everyone does.
It's sort of a to be continued in season 5 story arc.
Yep.
And boy, season 5. Wait till we get there.
Yeah. Yep.
So, okay. Any last thoughts that you want to put in for this season?
Not really. Just a lot happened.
Yeah, a lot. So, what would you give it out of our rating system?
I would give it. Whew. This is a hard one.
I give it a 4.8.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 point. I'm gonna go 4.9.
Okay, you're gonna go a point
Yeah.
1 above.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4.8, 4.9. That's still good. That's a 4.85
Yeah.
when you round it out. It's another exciting week of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm your host Caleb.
I'm John.
And check us out on, if you want to get in contact with us other than the comments, email us at escaperealityfilms@gmail.com, and you can join the conversation if you want to talk about something we talked about or ask us questions about stuff that we might know, Star Wars related, and we can talk about it. I always wanted to get emails from people
Yep.
that I didn't know, or do know,
Yep.
or do know. So, see you guys next week, hopefully, if nothing happens.
If nothing happens.
No promises.